Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. I got one more movie to talk about with you guys this afternoon. We just talked about Spiral from the Book of Saw, as well as Those Who Wish Me Dead, Angelina Jolie's latest. That's a day and date release over on HBO Max. Really freaking dug that one. I'm so pumped. Just for Angelina Jolie in general with what she has coming, and hopefully this is kind of like the start of a comeback for her, which will be super, super exciting. If you want to see my thoughts on that movie, you can see those right up there. But now we shift gears to a movie that dropped a couple weeks ago that I finally had a chance to take a look at, that lives in the world of animation on Netflix and comes to us from the boys Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the men responsible for Into the Spider-Verse. So why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into the Mitchells versus the Machines. And like I said, this comes to us from this wonderful, wonderful boys, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And you know, much like their other movies, they're not writing and directing here. They're just producing. But man, do these guys just know how to produce interesting animation, man. I mean, I have just never not been pleasantly surprised by what they deliver. And at this point, I don't even know if I should be pleasantly surprised. I should just be like, yep, that's what I was expecting from Lord and Miller. But they find such cool takes and twists to the concept of animation. I mean, those Lego movies are phenomenal, and the concept of the animation being used like Lego and how you use that idea inside of the world of animation, it's like something we had never seen. And then they literally gave us something we had never seen before with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where you have a 2D animated film that's got these like 3D elements to the characters and like these unbelievably realistic 3D backgrounds. Like there's just like the animation all across the board, even the way that they tie in like the comic book elements, and even like the people sometimes in the backgrounds aren't like always in focus like you would see in the comic. Like just that whole blending world. One of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen in the world of animation. And now we get to the Mitchells versus the Machines, and I tell you, you can immediately tell that it's these boys working on this movie because of the look. It's got a similar vibe to Into the Spider-Verse, but if you, like, inversed it, right? Like, Into the Spider-Verse, I've always said, is like a 2D movie that functions in certain elements like 3D. Well, this is a 3D movie, animated movie, that functions with elements like 2D. Specifically, like, your backgrounds kind of have more of a 2D animation vibe to them. Certain elements on the characters, the dad, Rick, in particular, when you get in on his beard, like, you can see the 3D animated model, but there are these, like, classic 2D pieces of animation that like kind of make up his beard and different elements of the characters, and it's just as visually stunning as Into the Spider-Verse, and it's so creative, man. Like this idea of, you know, a family that doesn't really get along, even in the trailers, our lead, Abby Jacobson, who plays Katie Mitchell, has said, like in the trailers, like, we are the worst family, and we're responsible for saving the world. Like, that's our job, because, when things kind of go wrong at home, you know, Katie is just in a place where she wants to get out. And there's always tension between her and her dad, and she's so pumped to go to school. She gets into film school and kind of finds her clique with people that she interacts with, before going. And because of that tension, the dad decides to make a really, really strong decision, cancel her flight and drive her across country, have her miss orientation and get her to school. So right out the gate, there's a lot of tension with this family. And then as they're going through their cross-country journey, like a robot apocalypse breaks out. And like I said, the animation style and just the things that they do are gorgeous to look at, man. Specifically the stuff around the robots and the technology elements. Like, the finale is this massive spectacle, and just top to bottom, it all looks wonderful. But it does not just take a Lord and Miller to make one of these phenomenal animated films. It takes an entire village of people. And your directors and writers here, Michael Rianda, who also voices Katie's brother, and Jeff Rowe are your directors and your writers here. And I think they really deliver, right? Like I said, inside the world of the animation, the look, the feel, the structure of the movie, the way it just moves and things, like, wonderful stuff. And then the story, I dug the story, man. I think all of us, we get to places with our families where, like, you kind of butt heads. And yes, the Mitchells seem to butt heads a little bit more than most, right? Like, the mom makes a joke at one point that's like, we can't ever take a nice family picture because you and your dad are always fighting. Or I guess it's like, you and Abby, or Katie, are always fighting. I think she's talking to the dad at that point. But, like, regardless, like, they're kind of dialed up to a more extreme level. But it just plays into the comedy of the movie and really hits home when you get to the end arc. Like, to watch this family go through this insane experience and start out in one place and end where they end, it's just a lot of fun to go through. And the performances that you get from the cast are really rock solid. Like I said, Abby Jacobson voices Katie, and also Dog Cop. She is going to film school, so she makes these. They have this. You can see the dog on the hood of their car. He is very strange looking. He's not the brightest dog, and like that kind of plays into like issues that the robots have because they can't really identify what he is because he looks so strange. But she utilizes him to make these fun little, YouTube short films about a dog cop. So Abby Jacobson voices both of those because Katie is doing the voice for the dog. But I enjoy Katie, man. Like, she's a lot of fun as a creative myself. I definitely, can understand a lot of the places she's coming from and a lot of her just own personality and vibes. Like, we're kind of in line. Like, I can see where she's coming from, and I just love the way that they use the animation around Katie. Like, you get some of that comic book element stuff that popped in Spider-Verse here. It's not quite comic book elements, but it's like the idea of using this like legitimate 2D like hand-drawn animation that kind of pops up every once in a while throughout the film that just like really makes it pop, and it's usually centered around Katie. And I just really enjoyed Jacobson's performance, specifically in and around scenes with her dad, Rick, who's voiced by Danny McBride, who also does a fantastic job. And to be completely honest, more often than not, you can't even tell it's Danny McBride. Like, he's really bringing it with the voice work. It works well for Rick, and like I said, it's an extreme version of a dad and daughter kind of butting heads, right? Like, he's more of a woodsman. He likes to build things with his hands and do woodwork and like would rather be out in nature. And Abby is more of a tech and film and that kind of thing. And it's fun to watch how those worlds start to come together to find like a common ground for them. And Danny McBride, I thought, did a really good job. The biggest standout in the cast for me is Maya Rudolph, who plays the mother, Linda. She is probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. Linda's the mom that just wants everybody to get along and wants the family to gel more and do more. Like, there's another family voiced by John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, the parents there, that they're like the perfect family, and they do all and like she wants that for her family, and it gets her to a point in the movie where she just goes ham, and it is so freaking fun. Like, Linda's more on the sidelines most of the movie, but when she gets to finally like get involved, oh dude, some of my favorite stretches of the film are around her. And Maya Rudolph is just, she's a gem. Anything that she does, specifically with her voice, like her voice work is always really, really good because she's got a great voice for animation, and the way that she can take it and play with it, like she just does a great job. And then the last of our Mitchells is voiced, as I mentioned, by Michael Rianda, Katie's brother Aaron. He also does a few other voices in the movie, and he's fine. He's not in it very much. Aaron is a very, very strange child and fits inside this family quite well. And from what I understand, I think elements of the story are kind of from Rianda's life. So for him to have kind of like this personal project and be involved, like that was cool. But like I said, Aaron is kind of really much smaller in comparison to the rest of the family. But that's not all you have, man. You also have two more huge standout voices in here. Eric Andre, who I mentioned, is the head of this tech company, and that leads to the robot apocalypse. And I just thought he nailed it. All of the tech humor and tech elements in the movie are perfect. And Andre just voices this character of Mark, who's like this young startup who's now a millionaire and has like just amassed all of these resources to create AI robots. And he's done it in like 6 months, right? Like the comedy around the tech space and that world is fantastic, and Andre just delivers time and time again throughout the whole film. I really enjoyed anytime Mark popped up. There's specifically a moment with him and Rick that's really, really nice, and him and McBride do a great job there. Loved Eric Andre. And then Olivia Coleman. Look at Olivia Coleman stepping out into the world of animation and crushing it. She plays Pal, which is the original tech that Mark creates. That's like this AI tech for your iPhone. They call it something different in the movie, but that's basically what what he creates. And Pal is like a living AI. Like, she's real AI. She's like the type of AI you get worried about when you watch the Terminator movies, right? And she does a phenomenal job. And like, talk about making a cute little cell phone terrifying. Olivia Coleman finds a way to do it, man. And the voice cast, everybody that pitches in. I mean, Beck Bennett comes in along with Fred Armisen to voice two of the robots. There are two robots that kind of end up having like a malfunction that allow them to kind of interact with the family in a less threatening way. And Armisen and Bennett are just absolutely hysterical, and it's always fun to see, like, when you get like a pair of guys from like SNL or like someone like Maya Rudolph pop in. They all just bring something interesting, and I really just enjoyed their two robot characters in the movie. And like I said, flat out, I just love this, man. I thought start to finish, this thing was great. Yeah, there might be some takes that maybe, don't work for everybody, but like, if you're looking to kick back, have fun, and have a fun animated movie, like, this is perfect. Maybe not perfect for like the smallest of children. Some of the robot stuff is pretty intense, but like, if you've got young kids, you could totally throw this on and watch it with them and have an absolute blast, from the visuals to the story to the family. And at the end of the day, when you get to the end, the message that the movie is trying to send is just a really, really strong, positive one. And I loved me some of the Mitchells versus the Machines, man. Now the question is, did you? Like I said, this one's been out for a few weeks. It's over on Netflix, so you can watch it right now if you haven't. And if you haven't, have we enticed you? Do you want to check it out? As the old C-Man made you go, I should go take a look at this bad boy. And if you did watch it, what'd you think, man? Did the movie work for you? Did you love the movie? Was it Did you not like the movie? Anything that was working, good, bad, and different, from animation to performances to direction and writing. Let me know all your thoughts on the Mitchells versus the Machines, man, down below in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the old C-Man anytime we're talking movies, TV, trailers, you want to be here for all that stuff, you just like the old C-Man's energy, want to give me a little love, then do yourself a favor. Come join C-Maniac Nation. It's easy, man. Just jump over there. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema, sit down. I've been the C-Man. I am signing off. Peace. Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.